Wolf.
Here.
Cindy Biting.
Here.
Mary Beth Shaw.
Here.
James Parkman. Barb Stotts.
Here.
Matt Crone.
All right, we have proof of posting. We'll do the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, before we get into things, we just wanted to acknowledge the tragic passing of a Vanguard over the weekend. And just mention again that we will have individuals on site tomorrow from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. And invite people to come in and discuss and communicate anything on their mind if need be. So, moving on to, do I have a motion? The approval of the agenda, please. All right, James and Matt, any discussion? Mike?
Yes.
Andy?
Yes.
Mary Beth? Yes. James?
Yes.
Matt?
Yes.
And I vote yes as well.
Cindy.
Oh, Cindy, sorry.
Way to go.
I'm sorry. Out of sight, out of mind.
Is that a yes, Cindy?
Yeah. I'm gonna have to start with her other. All right, moving on to public input. I don't believe. Mike?
Nope.
Pulling double duty.
All right.
Everyone's looking
At all.
Sounds good. Do I have a motion, moving on to minutes and payroll, for the approval of the Board of Education meeting minutes of July 25th, 2022?
So moved.
Any discussion? All right, hearing done. Cindy?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Andy?
Yes.
Mary Beth? Yes. James?
Yes.
Matt?
Yes.
And I vote yes as well. And then, a motion for the approval of the Board of Education workshop minutes of August 1st, 2022.
I make a motion. Second.
Any discussion? Hearing done. Cindy?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Angie?
Yes.
Mary Beth? Yes. James?
Yes.
Matt?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Moving on to 3.3, the approval of payroll accruals and disbursements.
So moved. Second.
Does anybody have any questions? Okay. Cindy?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Angie?
Yes.
Mary Beth? Yes. James?
Yes.
Matt?
Yes.
And I vote yes as well. And moving on to district business, facilities planning, we have Mike with us to give us some updates.
How's everybody doing?
Good.
Mike's Veteran Performance Services and Design Builder. So we got a typical update here.
You're in full gear
Love
tonight,
it.
though.
I know. The last few meetings, I've been hiding behind the tables. You guys know, I keep being dusty and dirty, even though I try not to be. There's always something to be done. I feel like out there when I'm walking around. All right, great. So we'll get into it. So the high and middle school renovation. So basically, the flooring is completed. We did the punch list on Friday. There is one section of the hallway with some green tile we need to come in and finish as we finish the punch out. It's hopefully going to be like the end of this week. We're going to finish all that out. We did walk it and do all the punch list stuff, and then we got it lined up with the installers to kind of finish that out, along with a little bit of a portion of the hallway on one side. So there's a nice photo of the second logo. Which they seem to be kind of like pros at that this time, at least with the puzzle pieces on that one. So on the elementary school, we're working to finish basically everything, so.
Crunch
So
time.
with finishes, it's just completing throughout. So basically it's like the tail end finish guys, like the flooring, the millworker, ceilings, and it's mainly at like, our last little area, where we're finishing out kind of down, like the resource rooms, the front entry, and kind of through that corridor is kind of what we got left to finish out with a lot of those trays. And then every tray's got their onesie, twosie thing, like I said, so it's kind of trying to go through all that and get them all wrapped up here and there with, okay. Especially with some of the supply chain stuff, you know how that is. So it's like, oh, we didn't get a light over here, so now we got it, put it in, or we didn't get this, and now, so working through all that stuff too. So that's fun. In the gym, we got the bleachers in and got a lot of the trims done. So basically, I think about everything's wrapped up in there. Trying to think what's left. There's just a few random things.
basement and the flooring, the one more coat of.
Oh yeah,
finish.
they're doing additional coats here starting Wednesday to have more protection for the cafeteria side. So that kind of was added as a recommendation that we're doing 2 more coats in there to kind of help with that one side being used to the cafeteria. So we're gonna be cleaning for that, happening Wednesday and Friday. And then we've got, like I said, we got most everything else done there. There's some punch list stuff for a onesie twosie thing, but that's what we've been working hard on. And the big one was the bleachers. And then they showed me that on Friday, how they all operate and all that, so I'll transfer that to Bill and obviously do a little training with them, but probably next for no bleachers by now. Experience, I don't know. So, the kitchen equipment, so yeah, we just loaded the kitchen again with like tons of equipment. So we gotta get it organized a little bit more. There's a few pieces that go out in the gym and stuff like that, so I'm trying to get a little more organized on where we put that and like kind of get everything set. Most of the equipment in there is pretty mobile, so next couple of days we'll get that pretty well organized, kind of cleaned up, and a few of the equipment that actually requires connections, which is plug in this week as well. Otherwise, we also got the security grill doors in there, which is good. So we just have to refinish the ceiling up to that and kind of clean up in there, among a few other things. So the MEPFS room and equipment, we basically have, I think, everything full completed. Trying to think if there's any exceptions to that. But yeah, like all the equipment's installed, all the piping's installed, all the installation's done. And so we got a mechanical engineer come in like a week or so to just he did a walkthrough and we did all the roughings done, so we got to see a lot of the stuff, before it got covered. But basically he's coming out to walk the main mechanical room and that kind of stuff, and kind of see all the equipment final put together and all that. So, and then we're doing the startups too. We've done, let's see here, we've done all the VCUs, which is the classroom ones, and we've got the airflow test and balance through them. Those are all checking out good in terms of getting all your airflow through all the classrooms. And then we started up the RTU, partially started the air handlers, we're kind of finishing those this week is the intent. And then start doing the airflow test and balance for all that equipment. For the rooftop unit that's at the admin room, and then the air handlers that feed like the gyms, and then one feeds those taller spaces too for air. So that's kind of what we're focused on. And also this week we're looking at all the like exhaust fans, and things like that to get the airflow as a focus point. And then we've heavily started a punch list, so today our architect got through all the remaining classrooms with our punch list walk. And we have, a lot of it is little drywall touch-ups and then like paint touch-ups. So we've got a drywall finisher lined up to start tomorrow, basically start running through all the classrooms. And the painter's already started, but then he'll also kind of fall behind him and touch up, the ones that require drywall touch-up. And then we've got kind of ran with everybody else getting through there this week as a focus point. Then like Thursday, Friday, we're going to start punching other spaces in the classrooms. So we did some of the admin already, but we're going to probably get into more of that, the resource rooms, the library, all the kind of other rooms. There's a bunch of the bathrooms hopefully on Thursday. We'll start punching Thursday, Friday. So that's our path forward there. And then on site work, we're doing the remaining paving. We started fine grading today. They're going to start some paving tomorrow. Today through Thursday, they should get all the paving done, and then they're going to start striping on Thursday. And what else? We got all the site concrete done since we last seen you guys. We did the paving on that playground. The playground basically got wrapped up. They've done some topsoiling already in a lot of spots where the site concrete was done when they could, which is just putting the soil back up against everything, once it gets done, so then you can seed it for grass to grow. And so they're going to basically finish out with paving, striping, and signage, and then striping and signage kind of overlaps the paving, and then the remaining topsoil and hydro seeding to plant the grass will follow this paving here, and then the basketball hoops at the playgrounds. Basically, that's not that good, missing something, but I can't remember.
Doesn't sound like a lot.
Yeah, so if we go through some of the pictures here that support that, you can see where we've got the main entrance metal paneling basically done, and now you can see that wood look that Jordan was talking about last time. So now we actually have the exterior sign up that says Wisconsin Heights on the east side. I thought that looked pretty neat. You can see the south side, what I was saying about how like the site concrete's all done, the topsoil's back, and they just have to pave right there, put the hoops in on that court and pave right in front of there. You can see the playground basically completed. There in that picture. There's an example of the classroom. There was furniture in it. Another classrooms are pretty close to the same. There's a few of the ones at the end that they're just finishing up the flooring base right now. There's like the art room, the music room. Probably gonna punch those next to it, punch those technically. So we're doing that probably Thursday. The administration wing, you can see the front desk. Last week, now they got flooring basically wrapped up in there, and the desk is, I believe, all done. There might be a onesie, twosie thing there, but you see the library last week, now it's got flooring done, just needs base. And then they've got those rolling shelves, like now the flooring's done kind of in the space too. After the flooring being completed. And also all the glaze, or all the windows have glass in them now too, things like that. Another shot at the library. Here's the gyms. This time the bleachers are still getting completed, now they're done. You can see the wall pads are up, that was something else that was installed, some of the other gym equipment. The doors were all put on, and hardware around the gym. Basically, the doors and hardware are wrapped up through the building too. They're trying to finish up this week. They'll have like a little punch list of some things that we'll go through with them. Basically getting wrapped up too. There's an example of like the collab room on the north side. See what that's gonna look like. Now we got glass, I think, glass and all that. Storefront assembly and stuff that wasn't in before. There's like a corridor. Our corridors are the farthest behind, but that's usually the case, like I said. So now they're working on all those cubbies basically, and they've got like kind of from the southeast corner out to like the northeast corner, like a hallway to kind of finish through there this week. It's a big focal point for the flooring. We're almost still finishing a few other spaces, but they're almost there. It's like a teacher's break room, two other spots. There's a mechanical room. You can see that kind of fully done up with boilers there, different tanks and pumps, and that's the lower part of the room. Is that everything?
Sounds like you're on top of it.
Oh, yeah. In the middle of it, on top of it.
Yeah, right.
Whichever direction.
Intertwined with it.
In all directions. Yeah. Yeah.
So today was the day that the teachers were told, the initial classrooms, that they could start moving stuff in. Did that happen?
So, like Bill's moving stuff into the classrooms, and they're coordinating when they'll come in to spread them, just because we have to go through the punch list we generated, and like I was explaining with the drywall touch-up guy and the painter, we just need to get those walls done, so we're coordinating the exact day they'll start calling teachers to like spread it out. But it's in
So the short answer is no.
But we're
And-
close. But we're close.
But, and yes, and then we had this conversation at the end of last week with Mike and with Bill, the notion of telling people to come in as they're trying to finish these other things up, and then having, I don't want to say people in the way, but in essence, kind of people in the way. We told Mike, hammer it out. If that means we can't come in until the end of this week or even the start of next week, I know that's not what people want. But at the end of the day, if that allows us to do it more seamlessly without creating issues with the construction work, the notion of next week is still 2.5 weeks prior to the start of the school year. So I just put that out there because I'm sure you're getting questions. So I'll just answer it as succinctly as possible. As soon as they can, they will, but we're not going to have people come in and then interrupt the work that they're trying to get finished for us.
The main items to get done there is the drywall touches. There's not a lot, and the paint touch-ups, just because that's all so much wall space, and I think teachers typically, hang stuff and get her, the other stuff's kind of random and not like random punch list items and stuff like that. So that's what we're going to focus on. I think after this week, we'll be through a lot of it. We've already gotten through 5 classrooms as like a precursor, end of last week, and the guys are ready to kind of jump on it, so.
So the maintenance staff is moving the pallets with the boxes and things will be ready and waiting for them, and we can give them the green light to come in.
Well, I know this is probably one of the busiest times because you're trying to check off a million different things, so thanks for your work.
Oh, yeah, no problem.
Any other questions? Well, as always, thank you so much.
Any update on our panel? Is it still gonna be here next week?
Do you need us to
Main
drive
electrical.
there and pick them up, or?
Main electrical.
We're trying, but we do have the temp main panel, and we're talking through at the end
discussion to approve the open enrollment in for students for the 2022-2023 school year. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Any discussion? All right,
Very
very
exciting.
exciting. Yeah, right? We'll take them. All right, Cindy?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Angie?
Yes.
Mary Beth?
Yes.
James?
Yes.
Matt?
Yes.
And I vote yes as well. All right, 6.1. Do you want to mention it?
Yeah, just, I mean, so with the elementary school, we talked about through the budget and the fact that we were moving into a new school, that we did not want to have a million different versions of furniture from a million different eras and years as well. So we took care of that purchase with the referendum. And as you can see in the picture, some of it's already in the classroom, some is still waiting in the middle school, and it looks really nice. And as I think I mentioned in some correspondence with the board, you don't realize sometimes how bad things might look until you get to see an alternative option. And I walked by our cafeteria and saw the cafeteria tables and compared them to what our elementary kids are gonna have. And when you see chips out of corners and things like that, it just, the look was not great. And the fact that the elementary students are gonna be able to enjoy all new furniture with their staff, this was one thing that seemed like the cafeteria space is greatly improved in the middle school, high school, so it would be nice to have the furniture to match the upgraded space. And then plus there's some branding opportunities. Some of the round tables have our Vanguard logo on them as well, which looks very sharp. They're the circular bench seat, or circular seats, not just the long bench seats as well. So I guess what I'm looking for is for approval of this. Supply chain, yes, this will probably be Thanksgiving or Christmas install by the time it can show up. But that's why we want to get the order now, so we can still enjoy them, at least for the majority of the school year.
That's exciting.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
And that would be to approve the purchase of the cafeteria tables for the middle school, high school from Emmons Business Interiors.
Correct.
Got a lot of good things from them.
Yep.
All right. Cindy?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Angie?
Yes.
Mary Beth?
Yes.
James?
Yes.
Matt?
Yes.
I vote yes as well. All right, moving on to personnel, we're gonna combine 7.1 through 7.6. A lot of hires, which is great to see.
I'll make a motion to combine 7.1 through 7.6.
I'll second.
Motion.
I'm on top of things today.
Stutter.
It was almost like I put an MC there, because it's so,
Throwing you off guard.
But you got AW, right?
I did get it right.
I got AW.
So we don't have any new names put in there?
They're on there.
Yep,
Yep, they are, yep.
they're updated.
So the ones that we were feverishly trying to work on, middle school, high school admin assistant for athletics and activities was Brittany Taylor. Assistant football is Connor Hurling. And then assistant soccer, Luke Haugen and Riley Moore, and those are all pending successful background checks.
Exciting to have some former students, you know, especially in the football world, since, you know, we've been struggling with that, so that's gonna be a good addition, I think, especially with
And a
Connor.
former board member too.
Yes, and a former board, you're right, Gary Demashki helping
Yep.
out with volleyball. Just appreciate people's willingness to serve and fill these positions. The staffing shortage in all sectors of employment are real, but with co-curriculars, it's even harder, because those are often positions that, if you break it down on an hourly basis, probably don't pay very well. So it's really of service to kids in school and the community to put your time in to do that. So thank you to people that are willing and able to do that for our students in our district.
Mhm. Okay. Hearing done. Cindy?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Angie?
Yes.
Mary Beth?
Yes.
James?
Yes.
Matt?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Right. 8.1.
Yep.
Correct? Yeah?
Yep, so
Okay.
we're on to agenda item 8.1, which is information in the offer to purchase Black Earth Elementary School. So board members, you had seen correspondence that I had sent. We had two individuals who submitted offers to purchase. answer those 6 questions and then answer any others that you may have as board members. So I see Mary. Welcome, Mary. Thank you for being here. So I guess without further ado, I will just turn it over to you to answer those questions, and then 2 board members, if you have any questions as well, you can follow up from there. So just real quick before she jumps in, the first question was, do you plan to develop or improve the existing property? If so, what are you planning to do? Question number 2 was, please discuss how you plan to finance the ongoing operation or updates to the facility. Number 3, why do you believe this business venture will be successful in Black Earth? Number 4, what will the daily use of the facility look like? Number 5, who will benefit from the business being created? And number 6 was, have you talked with the village of Black Earth about zoning? So, that is our context. Mary, take it away.
Is William Maney here?
I do not know, sir.
Are you William?
Not William? Okay, I've never met William. So no, the answer is no, William Beatty is not here.
Okay, well, William, I'll go first then. Normally I would say the home court advantage, I don't need over. So you guys have seen me here before, I've been here already. You already have my business proposal. I'm glad to be back here again, even though I'm sure you guys would wish that it were different, you know, that everything were done and squared away, but that's the moving and shaking in our world today of the pandemic economy. But for the first question, let's see, I'm trying to keep all my questions straight. Can you read that first one again?
Yep, the first one was, do you plan to develop or improve the existing property? If so, what are you planning to do?
Sure. So I think that the structure as it sits, there might be touch-ups or paint or, you know, then of course signage, I think digital, you know, things like that. But I think in general, the footprint is beautiful the way it is. Definitely working on having an engineer come in and see if we can go up. I'd like to include solar. I'd like to be a person that practices what they preach, and I think solar is something that it not only teaches our children good stewardship, but it also reminds us about our responsibilities within our community. And I know Black Earth itself is heavily taxed. We only have 717 roughly taxpayers that are affording the entire infrastructure. And as a resident of Black Earth, you know, the property taxes, if you're going to pay high, you kind of want something for your money. And I think a community venture like that would be that. I'm kind of flagging off this way. Of course, we want it to look neat and tidy. We probably will do community planting programs where the children will be involved in certain plantings, maybe take some of the brush area, lower that down, make it more fun and appealing for the kids to, you know, as a school they were just going there for education, but this would be something that people will want to venture into, something for everyone. Let's see. Yeah, so until the engineer does their specs, I guess we don't know if this is going to be a 1-story, 2-story project, or how we can work around the roofing issue. And of course, my beloved uncle owning his own roofing company, commercial roofing company, and being a roofer since he was 12 with my great-grandpa, he would definitely like to come and look at the roof. And I didn't think to do that ahead of time, ahead of knowing if we got it would disrupt him from his busy schedule. But that's a great resource to have, as are the other resources that I have for the upgrades and the updates, and people that I've met in my lifetime that have become long-lasting friends of mine and are really excited to embark on a venture where they actually care about the venture itself, that they think it's a wonderful idea, that they're like, wow, you know, normally they just go into a business, office spaces, the usual, you know, and this is something a little bit different for them, and I think they're excited about that. Question 2.
Yep, question 2 was, please discuss how you plan to finance the ongoing operations or updates to the facility.
So my financing is probably still the same as I gave you guys in my business plan. It's about having site control and, of course, at that moment, starting that cycle of grant opportunities and getting on the list. Like MADREP
that has just, they want to reach out to communities. I've located 2 different programs that are interested only in rural development, and they spearhead programs underneath them. So some lists of Venturize.org is through the SBA, and so SBA would be one outlet, of course, SBDC, and WIBIC, where I took the business course through them, which also gives you, my business courses in Asia were not going to be pertinent here, nor were they timely with our changing economy. We've got Wisconsin Economic Development Corporation, like I said, in this business initiative, ASEAN, Corporation Fund, Bridge Built by City, Connect Capital, Forward Fund Better, Farm Loan Discovery Tool. We're going to support not only entrepreneurs in kind of what comes to mind when you think entrepreneur, food, items for sale, crafts, but also supporting our rural community and our farmers in the area too, to have a place where they can bring some of their ideas. Maybe they're going to process meats and need a place to sell for charcuterie trays, or there's just so many opportunities for everybody to be involved, but then also for the children that are on these farms yet, that they have a place to come that's kind of their own, kind of a place to hang out, meet their peers. I think that that's important to bring our community together. And when I say community, not just Black Earth, of course, but our surrounding area, which I think that unifies. Having a school that touches all those areas unifies us, and then being part of our rural experience unifies us. And then, of course, enjoying our children's activities and ventures, I think that brings people together as well. It's feel good from start to finish.
Thanks, Mary. The third question was, why do you believe this business venture will be successful in Black Earth?
I guess I kind of already said that then. But as Barb said, there was a tragic passing, and people will be available here for counseling in the school. And there might be situations like that are outside of our school, and people don't have a place to gather or meet, whether it's recovering from a storm, or it's finding shelter from a storm, or a place where they can find resources, a place that they can come, kind of a one-stop shop for any needs. And who knows our community better than our own people? And the goal isn't just to have our own community occupy space, but that we know what's relevant to our narrative, and relevant wares, relevant businesses, relevant opportunities for our particulars here that satisfy our community. And I think that having a place for these non-for-profits to come in, or these services, or these opportunities, I think is, it's going to make people not only feel better about their community, but also that they are going to take maybe a more vested interest in their community themselves too. It's not just about going to work, raising your kids, paying your property taxes, staying up on your utilities, but actually to be involved in the community, to assist people in need, or to start or develop your own organization.
And the next one was, what will the daily use of the facility look like?
A daily use, of course, probably a commerce type of field, but then also all of our tours of the Driftless, tutorials on how to snow ski, or hiking opportunities, places where this is like the start. They all meet at this location, and then there would be a person or persons that are in charge of these field trips to enjoy the Driftless, just to give us all an opportunity, young and old and in between, to enjoy our beautiful landscape here. And I don't think you can protect what you don't know, and I don't think that you're going to appreciate, whether it be people or ideas, unless you feel proactive within that. And I think, so our outdoor activities are going to be very relevant, our indoor activities, and then services and goods that are relevant for our community, useful here for us, and more accessible. There are people that are, there are a lot of ideas coming in of people that would like to fill those spaces and what they'd like to do, and it's really exciting that people are getting really amped up about, you know, another swing at it, that this might be something that they can do, that won't cost them an arm and a leg, doesn't give them that kind of foreboding economic hurdle. And I think it opens it up, and quite frankly, in our economy now, we're needing to kind of, those that stuck with their job opportunities, yay, maybe they're a little wore out holding all that weight for this time. Those that left, it was a chance for them to maybe reset career or reset goals. People that had to leave and want to re-enter the workforce, there's all this, there's a lot of training that goes on through the state. The county actually was awarded $60 million, and it all went to, the state was awarded $60 million, and it all went to tech schools. I think that's a shame. But I think our community might be able to, not that tech school education is a shame, but that it may not be relevant to our area. So all that money was spent that will be relevant to other types of community dynamics, but maybe not to a rural community. And that would be really great if we would have some opportunities here, or be that bridge to opportunities for people. I found out of a couple opportunities that I think would have been great. I never even heard about them. They were at METC. You know, I don't swing with that group as much as somebody of maybe that age would. And I think to have those opportunities come out here and let us know what's going on in Madison. We're paying our fair share of taxes, but we're not getting our fair representation with the bigger cities. They're getting all of the money for these COVID-type programs, but there are organizations that are trying to reach out to rural communities, and they're just, they're waiting for us to, you know, what is it that you need? What is it you want? And I've attended several forums on this, and I was the only person from our area that was part of these forums. I think it's really important to remember that we do have a thumb on the scale. We do have an opportunity that we can create for ourselves, and we just have to find that in. And I think I found some of those little keyholes, and I think that's really important to say, hey, don't forget about us out here. We're paying as much as you guys are, the same rate that you guys are. Come and see what we've got here and see what you can bring to us.
Number 5 was who will benefit from this business being created, which you've spoken to a little bit, but if you'd like to expound on that one as well, who will benefit from business being created?
Well, I think everyone will benefit from the business being created. Who knew that was coming? I think it's an opportunity for us to develop and become our best selves. I just think when we have when we are in tune with the pulse of the community, and we know when there's somebody in need, I know how fulfilling that is for me when I find out that there's a person down the road that needs some help doing this, or there's an elderly person that can't get their air conditioner in or take it out, or there's somebody looking for this, that, the other. I just absolutely love that when I can say, oh, I've got a solution for that, or oh, I can help. It gives everybody kind of a place to square this away beyond the Facebook. I know people get burned out with it, or people get lost in the minutia, and I think it's important to have that face-to-face, that real time. I think we can do a lot of good in our community from young to old. I don't see any demographic that this does not serve, including tourists, you know, having people from outside of our community come in. We only have the space, Black Earth only has the space that we have. That the sky is not the limit for our taking over space. And I think I've been saying for years, and I'm sure you've read different of my speeches, that we don't need to be Middleton. We're not going to be that. We don't need to be Cross Plains. We are just exactly who we are, And we do not have, we have spatial constraints, but we also have concerns that are relevant to us. Do we want to fill all of our green space in with concrete? Do we really want to do that? Do we want more, if you're bringing hordes of people in for living situations in big developments, do we really have the resources that it's going to take to monitor and everybody be safe? Do we have right now we're at our spending top for Black Earth. There is no more loan available to us. Do we have that capacity for like our law enforcement to patrol and add, let's say, 150 more bodies to our area? I don't know the answer to that, but I do know that Black Earth has a certain look that the developers of Black Earth foresaw. They wanted us to retain our charm. They wanted us to retain our community flow. They wanted us to not forget our humble past and our hardworking past. And I think that this kind of checks all the boxes, and I feel that this is the best fit for Black Earth. Not just housing more people as a solution, but solutions being a solution. And you're not going to know what those are unless people have a place that they can come and really share. I need this or I need that. The information center where they would enter, which is currently the secretary's area, would be a wonderful beckoning as people come in just to check out what's going on in the area, school board meetings, all that kind, have a computer set up that people can check in with. What was the decision on this, what's relevant? It would be kind of a pulse and get people excited about these other ventures, the indoor or outdoor, the recreational ventures, the programming for children, not educational in that context, not school, but opportunities for children to get involved in different community programs or events or people in need and helping to serve, like, shoveling snow for the old lady next door or the old gentleman next door. How many people have heard she went to the mailbox, she broke her hip, and it's a big deal for people to answer their mail. It's a part of your own, it's kind of your pride, and it's your protection of your property, and to be able to get there is great, but can we facilitate this in a way that it might be, some kid maybe just, I got 4, love to shovel. Wouldn't it be great to have that, compounded throughout our community, that people can stay in their homes longer because they don't have to worry about these simple things that would only take somebody a moment to do. I think that this connectivity would benefit everyone, and so if you're asking who, I can't see anybody that wouldn't.
Thank you. And then our last question was, have you talked with the Village of Black Earth about zoning?
Yes, Shelley, I did tell her about this business opportunity, and she said that it sounds like a large undertaking, however, a relevant undertaking, and that the village would work together with us to develop this and whatever our needs are. Of course, her friend ended up getting the last development plan, but he wasn't able to do it, so I'm back on again, and I can't see that would change at all. I'm assuming Shelley will still be here up until that point, but I don't know. They just had a closed session on it, so I'm not sure. But the assurance from Shelley is as far as I can go. I don't know who her replacement will or could be, and I think it's predicated on whether or not she gets the votes.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mary.
Sure.
Board members, any questions or follow-up?
Erden, I do have one.
Yep.
Mary, hopefully you can hear me. So I guess I'm curious on who you're searching and through all of your looking on the design of what you want to create. Have you found anything else like this out there of what you're trying to create?
Have I seen another plan that's similar to this?
Yeah, in another community.
Yeah, there was a woman who bought a property in Indiana, and I think that's what she did with just artisans and craftspersons. And so it was a business incubator of sorts, but it kind of just filled that one category. I thought that was really forward thinking, and of course my brain went further than that. I'm like, what would be even more inviting, not everybody, I don't always like to shop. Sometimes it's just kind of, oh, but I would feel better shopping in my own community. It would seem a little easier than going into Madison and getting cut off 10 times, worried about my speed, spending gas, brakes, all that kind of stuff. And I just can enjoy that in my own community and support artisans here, which is what she did. But then on top of it, there's more. We could get more out of this. What more could we do? And I believe in using all the corners. Anybody that's ever baked or done cookies and on Christmas time, you want to use up all your dough. I see available spaces for other ideas, that are useful. Does that answer your question?
Yes.
It's not a get-rich plan. There's no get-rich for the person that buys it. It's a labor of love plan. It's watching communities unfold and children finding purpose beyond, make your bed every morning. They may in fact just find some callings that are really important to them. And telling our children, okay, behave, do this, do that, and then giving them a reason why it's relevant at a younger age. Let's make them responsible for some things, get them involved in, not all kids want to be on baseball, not all kids want to be on soccer, not all kids want to do that. There are other opportunities for them as well. But a place that they can come and meet with their friends in a safe space, I think is important also. We're outside all the time, as you can tell, and I just don't see any kids. There's a group that kind of gathers together, but where's everybody else? And it would make me really sad if I found out they were just video gaming their days away. There is better use for these strong minds and bodies that we're raising, and for that next generation, that's going to be important that they can see the potential in even, just this little housewife saying, I can see something really great here. I can see this happening. There are opportunities for them too, and they can stay in their own community. They don't have to move to another state. They don't have to move to a bigger city. They can stay right here and enjoy what we have to offer.
Thanks, Mary. Board members, any other follow-up questions? All right, well, hearing none, thank you very much.
Thanks,
We'll
Mary.
be in touch one way or the other, whether it's for me directly or Kayla, who's working with us as our realtor. So we'll be in touch moving forward. So thank you so much for your time.
Did you want the public to ask any questions? I'm open to.
I guess that's up to the board. It's their meeting. Play your traffic control.
Yep.
Not for the public attendees are here for that purpose, but
Well, that's what I'm here for.
speak now or forever hold your peace if you have a question.
I told my boys to come, but I said, you can't say anything until it's over. And they're like, oh, I just heard talk cool.
I don't see anyone waving their arm. Oh, I spoke too soon.
What exactly is this a co-working space?
We'll have a co-working space in it, but it's basically a business incubator that's been modified to fit a rural platform. So it's a little different than what you would see in like Milwaukee or Minneapolis or whatever. These would be small rooms that are currently rooms occupied by teachers and staff, and they would actually be occupied by people that have a business plan, people that want to get started but are worried about where can I rent a space, I can't buy a business, a building in this economy, I don't want to take that chance or that risk. And they can also they can share a space too, I would assume, like a similar thread of wares, like a jeweler that does necklaces, another one that does pottery. They could actually share a space that would be their business together. It would not only give them the freedom that they're not there 7 days a week for burnout, but that they also have an opportunity to see if this is something that will work for them, if they want to get bigger and grow and start, buy a building of their own in the area. This would be a launch point with a lower risk, shared utilities, shared resources, shared branding.
Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you for the
Thanks.
question.
Yeah. See?
Yeah.
I bet you'll end up
There you
at the
go.
community center.
All right.
Well, and there was a gym in the center too so everything that you saw here for school, that gymnasium's amazing. I mean, whoever took care of that for all these decades my gosh, the tenacity. It is, you could eat off of this. It's just really amazing. And to rip it down, I think would be such a shame, because in the winter time, of course, you know, my boys go out in any weather, but wouldn't it be nice to go and play basketball, you know, get in from the cold and go shoot some hoops, just fellas and girls showing up and, you know, shooting hoops and having a place to kind of call their own space without, you know, it's a controlled environment because children need the boundaries constantly, but there's that aspect of fitness and just, you know, kind of like show up and play, as well as for entrepreneurs, a place where they can kind of put their stamp or try their craft or develop their business moxie. And then we've got that great cafeteria, of course, that's just waiting for, you know, someone who needs a commercial grade kitchen to develop their cooking or their sales place. People that have their own food trucks would get discounts for not only vending on the green space, but also you know, renting the space to make their food as they go out to other areas as well. So.
Thanks, Mary. I know you could talk all night about it.
I know.
So
but isn't that passion
I
that
love
you
it.
want to be here? And
I love it.
You know, I just got one last plug. A local
love it.
person that wanted to come and support a local community, I think is very telling.
Well, we did receive one more offer from William Bainey, and I don't believe he's on Zoom, but we are gonna
Just checked with Bev, so it sent the same questions, obviously in the same message that I had sent. His answers were relatively succinct, so this will be quick.
He sent answers?
He did send some written responses.
Oh.
So the first question was, do you plan to develop or improve the existing property? The response was, our goal is to maintain the current facility and make necessary improvements as needed. To the second question about discussing how you plan to finance the ongoing operations or updates, we will receive rental income from dealers for the space that utilize it along with a percentage of retail sales. We are financially capable of maintaining the property as we get started. Number three, why do we believe this business venture will be successful? We have been looking for a property like this in a rural community with a park-like setting close to Madison and surrounding areas. Black Earth is conveniently located and easily commutable for our target dealer and customer base. Number four, what will the daily use of the facility look like? Constant but slow-paced dealer and customer traffic. Store hours would be approximately 9 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Number five, who will benefit from the business being created? The community and local businesses as a whole will benefit by bringing new interest and people to your community, as well as us creating our dream business. And then number six, have we talked with the village about zoning? We have not. The realtor did briefly and acknowledged that zoning would be needed for any proposed use. So those were the written responses from the other party that had submitted the proposal.
I missed, what is he selling though?
So the intent was actually like artisan, craft, antiques, so using the different rooms for that purpose. I don't have a full business plan necessarily, but that was what was written into the offer of purchase.
And he's aware of Bulldog, right? But there's already.
I did not ask that question.
Okay. So the whole thing is gonna be retail. Got it. And then what's the spelling of the gentleman's name?
The last name is B-A-N-E-Y.
All right, thank you.
Yep.
Well, thanks again, Mary, for
Do you want me
coming.
to stay or?
No, I think
No,
that's,
yeah,
I think
we're
we're
I think
good.
we're good, yeah.
Yep.
Not that I wouldn't want to, but I'm imagining they're cooking a pizza right now.
Oh, there you go.
Cooking classes in the cafeteria, right? They're doing pizza right now, and I'm just imagining it's just all, I don't know how they get sauce on the ceiling, but it happened last time. I think the boys, I want to do it. No,
All right, well, thanks again for coming.
thank you, everybody.
Mary.
Have a fantastic night.
All right, so we're okay to move on?
I think so. Unless the
Okay.
board person with the
Anything
questions.
other? Okay. 9.1 is going to be discussion of future meeting dates. Which are all
Yeah,
self-explanatory.
so two weeks from in-service, August 22nd, in-service for our staff as well, so that'll be an exciting day. So look forward to that. Obviously, Mike talked about the project. There will be some things where, the good news is we've been trained to be incredibly flexible the last 2 years, so we may have to be flexible on some things that we look forward to in service, but we will do our best to communicate and accommodate as needed and be flexible ourselves with our staff. So let's hope in 2 weeks we're feeling good and that it looks good and we're ready to roll.
All right, then, we shall move on. 10.1, clerk, if I could get a roll call to adjourn to executive session pursuant to Wisconsin statutes 19.85, parent 1, parent E, deliberating or negotiating the purchasing of public properties, the investing of public funds, or conducting other specified public business whenever competitive or bargaining reasons require a closed session. When the executive session ends, the school board meeting is adjourned.
Angie Wolf,
Yes.
Cindy Biting,
Yes.
Mary Beth Shaw,
Yes.
James Cartman,
Yes.
Barb Stotts,
Yes.
Matt Crowell.
Yes.
All right, let's take 2 and we'll reconvene.
Yep, sounds good.